of Justices of the Supreme Court, presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has begun hearing on the application filed by the former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, and People's Democratic Party, PDP, seeking a review of its judgment but declared Hope Uzodimma of the All Progressives Congress, APC, winner of the March 9, 2019 Imo State governorship election. Counsel to Emeka Ihedioha, Kanu Agabi, and counsel to Governor of Imo State, Damian Dodo, have argued their motion on point of law after adoption of written addresses by the parties. The federal government is to adhere strictly to guidelines of the National Fertilizer Quality Control Act that stipulates penalties for producers and distributors of fake and substandard fertilizer in the country. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Muhammadu Sabo Nanono, stated these are the public presentation of the Act in Abuja. The Act provides 5-year jail term for any person found guilty of violating the Act without option of fine. The law also provides that no person or group of persons are allowed to go into the production, supply and marketing of fertilizer without obtaining license from relevant authorities. The bill that also was initiated in 2005 was sponsored by Senator Abdullahi Adamu. It was passed into law in 2019 and assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, coronavirus and other zoonotic diseases like Ebola and Lassa fever plaguing countries of the world are now beginning more than ever to question the acceptability of the way human beings relate with animals, with the theme Sustaining All Life on Health. World Wildlife Day 2020 is celebrating the intrinsic and incalculable value of wildlife by promoting ecological balance and addressing the innate dangers of man's unhealthy relationship with wild fauna and flora. The theme is chosen in consonance with the Sustainable Development Goals of eradicating poverty, promoting better consumption and production patterns, as well as conserving lives below water and on the land. Security troops of Operation Lafia Dole deployed to Baga local government area have rescued 9 women and 16 children. A statement by the Nigerian Army Operations Media Coordinator Colonel Aminu Ilyasu indicates that the victims were liberated during a clearance operation in Bula, Gudi and Safa villages of Baga, Borno State. Similarly, 2 alleged Chadian members of Boko Haram terrorist group have surrendered to troops of Army Super Camp 11, Gamborungala, local government area of Borno State. Colonel Ilyasu notes that the suspects revealed that intense artillery bombardments and ground assaults on their camp forced them to escape and confirmed the presence of foreign machineries among them. Several criminals were arrested, others killed in combat, and arms were also recovered. And those are the stories trending on the hour. Thanks a lot for watching it. I'm Musbat and Wahab.
It has been a predictable cycle of campaigns, elections, post-election litigations, and finally judgments, trailing last year's elections from the to the off-cycle elections. The ability of the political actors to stretch the process has amazed and confounded observers in equal measure. However, the recurring words are that governance must go on. And so today we look at the contract between the leaders and the led and what true representation means from the constituency to the floor of the legislative chambers. We will also have an eye on the Supreme Court, where Imo indigenes have their individual definitions of what is to be or not to be. These are our guiding thoughts on Political Update today. I am Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it rejects the judgment of the Kogi State High Court, which it says unlawfully voided the party's validly conducted primary for Kogi State governorship election. The party says it will explore all legal avenues to set the ruling aside. Our correspondent Timothy Yusuf was at the press briefing and filed the report.
Avoidance of doubt. Nigerians are all aware that our great party, on the 3rd and 4th November 2019, duly conducted our primary for the Kogi governorship election, which was monitored and certified by the Independent National Electoral Commission, and which produced our candidate, Engineer Musa Wada, who fully participated in the November 16, 2019 governorship election. It is therefore instructive to state that the pre-election suit filed in the Kogi State High Court by only one of our many aspirants in the primary, in person of Alhaji Abubakar Mohammed Ibrahim, sought the court to declare him the winner of the primary election and nothing more. All the parties agreed that the primary was valid and concluded. The only contention between Engineer Musa Wada and Abubakar Mohammed Ibrahim was to determine who the actual winner was and nothing more. In determining the matter, the judge found that Abubakar Mohammed Ibrahim did not establish his case that he won the primaries. The PDP will take this matter to the very legitimate end to get redress as the appellate courts, and we have instructed our lawyers accordingly.
Also, the People's Democratic Party says its internal dispute resolution mechanism has brought to an end the 12-year lingering crisis in the Ogun State chapter of the party. This followed the visit of the two factions to the party's national leadership in Abuja.
We are glad that you have come, and we are sure that you will receive all attentions from the party headquarters here, and in accordance with the rules of our party, the constitution of our party, and also the electoral laws. And it is very clear that it's the only national body that can conduct, in conjunction with the states, can conduct all congresses, primaries. In case of primaries, after the primaries, it is only the national body that should submit list of their candidates to INEC. The electoral laws are very specific, and anything contrary to that is against the laws. And we are happy that the Ogun State had come together. They were divided before, but by your action today, you are together, and we'll give you all the support that is required.
Many political analysts agree that the verdict from the ballot triggers the contract between the political leader and the people. It is a physical display of approval which is expected to propel an equally committed performance by elected representatives, and in this prism, promises are kept, concepts dovetail with actualities, and the communication and feedback channels remain open for the duration of the said contract. Honorable Leke Abejide of the Yagba Federal Constituency of Kogi State joins us today on Political Update. He is of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you, Nigerians.
All right, let's start, because you're the first time. How has the experience been like at the floor of the House?
the experience has been so very interesting, especially with the kind of leadership we have in the House under the able Speaker, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. He has carried everybody along, and if you see our motto is nation building, a joint task. So we don't really have segregation whether you are PDP, APC, ADC. So we work as a family. So it has been so interesting, and everybody has been given the level playing field within the House to do his job.
How many are you of the ADC in the House?
We are 3 in number. Myself from Kogi State, one from Ondo State, that is Honorable Abiola Makinde from Ondo State, and Oja, we call him Oja, Honorable Olaifa Chimo Aremu from Ogun State.
I think the 3 of you should sit together so that if you shout, people can hear because of the population of the House.
I've just told you now that there is no party system within the House, that we work as a family. That's why we have that logo there. If you look at the back, right at the back of the speaker where he's sitting, you will see a nation building, a joint task. So we are here to work as a team for the nation to develop.
Okay, let's look at it now from the perspective of representation. The people of Yagba, what are the low-hanging fruits that they have been able to benefit at this point or before from you in terms of deliverables of democracy and the contract between you as a representative and they as your constituents?
I'm just like 6 months old in the government, now make it this month. Now it will make it 7 months that I took over the mantle of leadership as #1 citizen of Yagba East, Yagba West, Amopamuro Federal Constituency of Kogi State. Before I came in last year, precisely, I paid the WAEC fees for all the students writing WAEC in SS3 in public secondary school. And when I was campaigning, I said that if I win the election, I will pay it for the next 5 years. So after the payment, people thought it was going to be like politics as usual. That politicians, that's how they behave. And this year, I came and I said, okay, I'm not going to pay for only public school. I'm going to add the private schools and the technical schools. So I just released 72 million, not quite long, and then I paid for everybody. So they have started benefiting from that. And not only that, I also promised the widows across that, because I know their life is not that easy like those people that are with their husband or they have somebody to take care of them, that I'm going to take care of them, which I started doing already. I did program for them during December, and this year also I'm going to take care of them by buying all the clothing they need for the period.
Let me just interrupt briefly. Of course, I think I was able to make some humble, results from my WAEC, but maybe I will be able to send 1 or 2 people to Yagba to register so that they can benefit from this.
They are welcome.
But let's look at it from the ADC prism. A lot of people are interested a bit in these so-called smaller parties beginning to develop, especially in terms of ideology. How do you want to, carry others along who perhaps want to look at this platform and, people giving you a thumbs up from that constituency, a smaller, party, so to speak? But right now, of course, you are already having 3 or so members in the House of Representatives. And then across the regions, are you beginning to develop as a political platform, or, it's just a matter of you and your focus on your constituency alone? How about the party in general? I'm talking about ADC now.
Okay, you are talking about the party nationally.
Yes, nationally.
ADC now is not a small party as you think, because now in Nigeria, in party hierarchy, they take PDP, take APC, take APGA, ADC is number 4. Because now we have 3 House of Rep members and we have 3 State Assembly members. And we we are not going to stay there. We are trying to show people. Now people now understand that it's not about party alone. It's about the person, the personality, flying the flag of that party. And they see that 3 of us that are on this platform, we are doing very well for our people. We are reaching them at the grassroots. So I believe in the next dispensation, a lot of people will have to come to this party.
All right, so let's look at the, before we came on, we talked about the youth empowerment issue, and a lot of people have continued to talk about this, that youth are not used only as cannon fodder during elections, and then after that, abandoned. What are the programs, especially for this year, for the youths?
Okay. Also, let me just take you back a bit. During the campaign, I promised that I'm going to empower 3,000 youths. And my focus and my plan is towards agriculture. I started a little last year, 2019, and I focused mainly on sesame seed. Sesame seed is a seed that is needed mostly in China. Unfortunately, we have coronavirus now that is making the business not to move like last year. But I believe it's just a matter of time. So I focused on it. I gave seeds to farmers. We selected some youths who are serious and know what they are doing. We gave them seed and chemicals. And this year now, they discovered that what I was telling them is a reality. It's not fiction. Some of them now were able to sell as much as maybe 1,500,000, 300,000. Even there are somebody who sold like 2 million from what they planted last season. So I'm going full blasting this coming season, so which is going to start as from July. I'm trying to empower this year. Now I'm looking at each local. I'm representing 3 local governments. I'm looking at a minimum of 500 youths in each local government. If I can do more than that, I'll be happy. But before I leave, before this first term ends, I will actually do 3,000 youth empowerment.
All right, let's quickly, before we move on to other things, let's look at what a lot of people have spoken about, and that is the House of Assembly itself, talking about the reps and, of course, the Senate. This year, you've been able to move, the budget cycle to January, December, as against what obtained in the past few years. Now, in terms of the relationship between the two arms of government, what are your comments, as well as in terms of oversight, have you begun, and what are your comments as well?
Well, people have been asking that maybe this Ninth Assembly is like a rubber stamp to executives, and my answer to them, I said, if the Ninth Assembly is a rubber stamp to the executives and the people benefit, I say so be it. Now you can see, we passed the budget December, President signed it the same month. It started running from the beginning of this year. By end of this quarter, which is this month, the releases will start. So there's possibility that the budget will be implemented, if not 100%, close to 100%. So, and then the masses will be the major beneficiaries. The relationship that is cordial between us is for the progress of the country. I'm not of APC. I belong to ADC. But I joined them to make sure everything works for good. If we have this budget cycle for the next 2-3 years, it should not be the same story. The economy will be better for it.
All right, we'll take something else just shortly, but let's just inform you that we're trying to reach our correspondent at the Supreme Court to give us update on the Imo, the appeal, the prayers from Emeka Ihedio's the application filed by the former governor of Imo State. If we get that, we would, of course, bring it to you. And, of course, we are also tracking the little constitutional conundrum unfolding in Taraba State. involving perhaps the chief executive there to, some are saying he should hand over to his deputy, and all that will try and see if that can be unraveled in the course of the program or in our subsequent programs. But harnessing the huge potentials in the Niger Delta has been one of the objectives of the current administration. It is, however, trying to deliver by ensuring probity and accountability in the agencies driving the process in the region. Mike Emu, community representatives of the oil and gas producing communities, joined us earlier, and he says projects focused on youth empowerment and the remediation of projects to give the region a new lease of life are still on track.
Or Mr. President came on board as the president of Nigeria, there were a lot of crises in the Niger Delta. The youth were unemployed. There were a lot of illegal refinery, pipeline vandalization, and a lot of crises. The crisis we're now experiencing in the Northeast is just, the beginning of it was from the Niger Delta, where you were having kidnappers and a lot of armed robbery and assassination and so forth and so on with the foreign technical partners who were operating there. And they all moved out of the Niger Delta back to Lagos, to the western region. Boycott could not contain them because the youth were idle. But since Mr. President came on board, solution has been found in the sense that I, as the national chairman of the host committee of Nigeria, I was empowered to recruit 10,000 youth, 10 youth from each community, and that process will be on. And my appointment as a member of the BOT in the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Board, Ogoni Cleanup, also created room for employment of youth. Ogoni Cleanup, let me talk a little about Ogoni Cleanup and how the youth and women benefited from it and are still benefiting to date. After what Nostra did, the federal government, through the promise of Mr. President when he was campaigning for the cleanup of Ogoni land, a HYPREM was established, the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Board, and with a governing council and a BOT, Board of Trustees. And the groundbreaking ceremony took place. After that, 21 slots of job was given out to contractors. Ogoni land has 4 local governments in Rivers State. And those 21 contractors started work. They have to employ the youth. And we kick-started with the issue of provision of water to the people because the water had been destroyed. Because it has to do with the ecosystem was destroyed. So there was no water, no light, nothing. And so just 2 weeks ago, the IOC and the federal government released $360 million to the board. And with that, we re-approve another 36 slots in addition to the former 21. So more 21 companies, 36 companies are coming in, contractors. And then they must employ the youth. Because the Nigerian local content says that when you operate in a place, you operate, and you employ those who are in the place. So in Ogoni, the land was full of hostility, crisis, and so tensions here and there. But as we are talking, as I talk to Nigerians, everything is calm. It's getting calm because the job is going on in the 4 local government. The cleaning exercise, the remediation project is on. People thought that it was a scam. People thought that Mr. President was not serious. But if you get to Ogoni land, you will know that Mr. President meant what he says, and we are on. Contractors are working, and the youth, for 2 years now, you discover that the Niger Delta region is more peaceful than any other region in Nigeria in terms of the geopolitical zone because of the attention that Mr. President is giving to the host community. So we're creating an enabling environment for the IOC and the NOC to operate. But we need to do more by employing more of the youth because more graduates are on the ground waiting for employment.
Okay, more graduates are on the ground. We still have with us a member, of course, of the African Democratic Congress representing Yagba constituency. I'm talking about Honorable Aleke Abejide. Thank you for joining us. We've just entered, the first quarter of 2020. But in terms of 2020, what are your projects and what are the things you want to see by this time when we come again to ask you, maybe next year, what you have been able to do?
In my constituency, by this time next year, I want to see the feeder roads, being motorable. I'm not talking of the trunk A road or whatever, but feeder road that all naturally to be done by local government. Since they are not doing it, I've taken it up. I've even started already. Started the palliative. I did in December. Make sure everybody was able to travel easy. So, but I've not been able to do more. But by this time next year, I want all the villages connected together. And then again, I want to see all the rural areas that are lacking in water. I was able to give them motorized borehole, 8 motorized borehole now. So I want to make sure each community has one.
Very shortly, tell us about a few bills that you've been able to, raise, motions that you have been able to raise while you are there.
If you watch, I think NTA televised it. It went so wide. December 17, I moved a motion on insecurity along Abuja Lokoja Road, where people have been kidnapped or killed at random. And then there's so many motions in progress, and very soon you'll be seeing them.
Okay, let's quickly now join our correspondent. A 7-man panel of justices presided over by Chief Justice of the Federation, Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, has begun hearing of the application filed by former Governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, and the PDP seeking a review of its judgment that declared Hope Uzodinma of the APC winner of the March 9, 2019 Imo governorship election. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chinwoba is standing by with details.
Thank you, studio. It will be recalled that on Tuesday, the court adjourned at the instance of counsel to Ihedioha and PDP, Kanu Agabi, who said he needed time to respond to the motion which was served to him in the court yesterday. This morning, when the court reconvened, preliminary applications were taken, and parties adopted brief of argument, and they also argued the brief on point of law. Counsel to Governor of Imo State, Damian Dudu, is asking the court to dismiss the application on the ground that the application is incompetent and it lacks merit, that the Supreme Court under no guise should sit over that application by way of appeal, by way of setting it aside or review, that action will amount to constitutional breach, and that the 14th February decision of the court is categorical and explicit, and that the court cannot by any guise revisit that decision. At the same time, counsel to Ihedioha and PDP, Kanu Agabi, is saying that the court has inherent jurisdiction under Section 6, Subsection 6 of the Constitution and Section 22 of the Supreme Court Act to revisit its decision, and not by way of appeal, because by way of appeal will amount to sitting over a decision, not by way of appeal. He said it has done that in very well established cases, and that the court can do that where there is fraud, where the court was misled, where there is deceit, that in all these circumstances.
Many thanks to Vera Chinwoba for submission there. I understand that the court will reconvene at about half an hour, 3 o'clock, and she'll bring us more updates as things unfold. Many thanks to Honorable Leke Abijide of Yagba Federal Constituency, of course, of the ADC, for joining us on Political Update today. Thank you very much. And thank you for also being a part of it, for your time. We'll be back again on Friday, God willing, with a fresher, brighter package. My name is Fisal Gumbi. Thank you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your week.